Ladies and gentlemen, what's really good? How you living out there, folks? Once again, it's your boy EMillio EgBar, and we're back at it once again. And I hope everybody out there is having a wonderful evening. Thank you for all of y'all out there that's tuned in and watching the EMillio EgBar Show right now. And if you haven't done so yet, be sure to follow us all over social media at the EMillio EgBar Show. Definitely look for us. We'll be looking for you, and let's link up. But with that being said, folks, we got a special guest joining us here tonight, and I'm delighted to have this brother here joining us and here on the line calling in right now, folks, from out of South Carolina. We've had Mr. Will Soul on the line. Mr. Will, how's everything with you, man? Welcome to the show. How you doing?
Hey, what's good? I'm good. Just dealing with this winter weather we having down here. I'm from South Carolina, but I live in Georgia.
Okay.
But I'm good.
That's what's up, man. So how you like South Carolina compared to Georgia? You know, I know a lot of people, you know, when it comes to the southern states, a lot of people, you know, they have their pride in their state, just like up here in the north and all that good stuff, man. But what's the difference between Georgia and South Carolina? What's the difference?
Well, I'm gonna say this: nothing can be finer than South Carolina, baby. I'm Gullah Geechee, born and raised from Charleston, South Carolina, James Island to be specific.
Okay.
Pacific, like the ocean, right? But we on the Atlantic. But you know, I love my roots, man. You know, we're descendants of, you know, that the first Africans that came over through the Gullah Geechee corridor. You know, Charleston, Savannah, the different sea islands, and I'm what they call Gullah Geechee. And my family originated from like the Ivory Coast side of like Africa. So,
okay, you
know, they were the rice growers and all those different things. So our culture is really deep. We're a proud people, and we also have a dialect. You know, a lot of people compare it to like a Caribbean or like a patois type thing.
Okay,
but it's different. You know, it's slightly different, but I understand patois.
Okay.
But so of course I'm gonna be biased to Carolina, but you know, Georgia's been home since 2008. Military brought me here. I served in the United States Army for 21 years and 6 months on active duty, but a total of 23 years total, because I had a little bit of National Guard time before I went active duty. So been here since 2008. You know, I mean, I love Georgia too. You know. Who don't love Atlanta, right? I'm about 2.5 hours away from Atlanta,
right?
So of course, you know, that's where it's at in the South.
Yeah, shout out to Atlanta. I got cousins out there. Yeah. So let me ask you, because one thing, and please pardon my ignorance, because you know I'm not really versed in a lot of different cultures, but when it comes to Geechee, and I know you pretty much like ran it down, where does your people originate from? Like I just try to understand with the Geechee culture, because I hear it so many times, but like I never had a conversation with somebody that really broke it down to what the Geechee lifestyle is about.
So my family did a DNA study some years back, and we had a family reunion back in 2015, and this was like the side of the family that I wasn't really that well connected with, but had went to school and grew up with some of these people. But they did an in-depth like study, and then that's when they pinpointed, like, you know, our family originated from like what they call the Ivory Coast, or what they used to call Sierra Leone. You know, the outer edge, you know, headed back toward this way, I guess, because they were like the rice growers and the fishermen and women, and you know, they grew, you know, they could grow crops and stuff, you know, by the water. So yeah, so they were brought to like the Sea Islands of South Carolina and Georgia because the terrain was very similar. So yeah, that's where we originated from.
Okay, I appreciate you breaking that down to me, because you know I've heard, like, you know, the likes of Kwame Brown, the retired basketball player. You know, I've heard him mention it before about, you know, Geechee and the Geechee lifestyle and all that stuff, and it was always curious to me because I always heard it, but I never really quite understood what it was. So I do appreciate you for breaking that down for me, man. Thank you.
No doubt, no doubt.
No doubt, man. So with that being said, of course we all know the South definitely has a rich music history when it comes down to it. So where did you pull your inspiration from that got you into pursuing music in the first place?
Man, from the time I was a little kid, man. I remember my parents bought me like my first like little record player. I was like maybe 5, 6 years old. And I used to grab my dad's old albums, man. Like he had like the original like Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes, man, and like all the Teddy P stuff and the Temptations and Marvin Gaye. And I used to sit there and play them records and envision myself, singing one day, and I was always singing. But then it came a point to where I started making up my own lyrics to songs. And then, when I got in school, then, I played in a band, and, but my grandmother had me in church, from, time probably 2-3 years old singing in the choir. So, came up, with that deep South, that church upbringing, man, and all those things. Then, because of my age, I was there when kind of hip hop, was like a thing, and kind of watched the time, grew with the timeline. I still remember, Run DMC first album, LL Cool, all that. And then, you hit like the 90s, when a Tribe, and, so forth and so on, and where we are today. I just love music, man.
No doubt.
It's eclectic though,
I definitely love music myself too. Like I started off, doing music myself when I was a young kid. The first thing, of course, you growing up early 90s and everything, you got the Wu-Tangs out right now, you got the Biggie Smalls, you got the Tupacs, you got all these dope rappers that's coming out, Nas, you pick anyone on that list, and you hear so many of these rappers coming out at that time, and then the music was just so different at that time, had a whole different energy about it that everybody just wanted to be a part of it, man. So I know exactly what you mean when you talk about just the whole overall when it comes to just like music and just being influenced by so many different talented individuals that bless the world with their craft.
Indeed, my brother. You speaking my language, man. That's what it is, man. I mean, I'm just sitting here and I'm flooded with like, all sorts of like emotions. Just remembering like good times in music, man. It's a wonderful thing.
Oh yeah, definitely, man. And that's one thing I love about music too, is just like the amount of emotions that you can just feel. Like it just, one song can just tap into so many different emotions all at once, and that's just the beauty of music, yo. Like music should be its own language, like like Spanish or like English or something like that. I think music should be its own language, man, because you could be beefing or have all kinds of problems, but it's like this is one of those common grounds that bring a lot of people together when we talk about music,
Yes, and that's amazing because you find yourselves, in circles sometimes where you probably would never, have anything in common with, but then, you're like, oh no, you like Moonchild? I just threw that out there. I like their music, something like that, and then next thing you know, you meet these people and now y'all talking about the different albums, and then you start finding out you got other things in common. So yes, I do feel like music is that kinetic synergy that can bring us together, man, on different. You don't even gotta speak the same language, man. That's the beauty of it. Can bring you together that way.
Yeah, like I was talking with my brother yesterday, and we was talking about DMX, may God rest his soul, one of my favorite artists of all times, and we were just talking about just the impact that his music had. And I remember, and it just made me bring me back to a moment where I saw a video, and I believe he was somewhere in Asia doing a show outside, and he had like 50,000 people in the stands that didn't speak 100% English, but everybody knew that DMX song. And like when it came on, just the energy that was in that crowd and everybody just coming together for that one song, doesn't matter what language you spoke, what nationality it was just incredible to see, man. That's just, I can sit here and I could talk about music all day, man, but I'm not going to do that. But what I want to ask you though is, being that somebody that's been around, you've seen the evolutions of various genres, various cultures, and various trends that happen within the music industry and also within the business itself. So with that being said, what you see that's going on right now and currently right now in the music industry, like how do you feel from the transitions that you've seen from your time when you first got started up until now? Do you feel as though music is going in a good direction, or you feel as though that we're kind of like in limbo right now?
I think he said it best in one of his songs when he was like, his grandfather said everything goes in cycles, or either was his pop somebody, right? Mm-hmm. And I see the trends, coming back again. I see R&B going back to that late 90s, early 2000s, Jodeci, Mary J, Faith Evans, that whole bad boy, you know what I'm saying? Like that, like 112, like it's like Summer Walker dropped that song. The one she got out right now, what is it? Something about a woman, that song. Okay, yeah. Man, when I heard it, man, it took me back to like some old Faith Evans, the way those drums was hitting. I was just like, yo, it just had that vibe. And then you look at like October London, right? Like, he a soul singer. Mm-hmm. He tapping into the essence of Marvin Gaye, man. But putting his spin on it. It's amazing though, because how those old influences are still impacting, and even hip hop. I love how a lot of these like newer artists are making it known that they here to stay, and this ain't a gimmick, right? Either you with it or you ain't, and they hustling. I like that.
That is true. And the one thing I do see about, especially in hip hop, the whole ageism when it comes to the genre itself. I'm like, hip hop is the only genre that I've seen thus far in all my time, doing music, that is the only genre that has ageism. It's the one thing that I do see is good that, you have these, more established, more iconic artists that are putting out music in this day and age, 2025. That's still great to see. And then you also got the newer generation of artists that's coming out, that's putting out incredible music as well. Just the only thing I wish that we would see more of is a little more bridging of the gap, where we can all kind of understand one another and agree to disagree with everybody's stances on the way music is, and maybe even come together and collaborate. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's one of the biggest things that you see a lot of. You see a lot of back and forth between the older, generation of artists and the younger generation of artists.
Do a boom bap meets trap or something.
I don't know. I think that could be something that could be pulled off. I think it's been pulled off a few times before, but I would like to see more of that happening. What do you think?
Yeah, definitely, because I mean, you could look at Snoop, man. Snoop loves like working with like the what we call the new school, or the younger artists, and he loved that. I've seen Dr. Dre do stuff, So I mean, and then of course, I mean LL. I don't know if you had a chance to check out his latest album, but for him to still be doing it, bro, that's amazing, bro. Man. He got a couple of bangers on there.
Man, I'm gonna be completely honest. There's so much music out right now. I haven't had a chance to catch up with a lot of the new joints that's out there right now. I've mostly been focusing more on a lot of the, the unsigned, the unknowns, the people like yourself, the people like myself, those kind of artists that is out here right now. But I definitely want to get my hands on that Redman Muddy Waters too. Growing up a Redman fan,
fire. Fire too.
Oh, word.
I heard that too.
yeah, man. I'm slipping, man. I've been hiding under a rock the last couple of years when it comes to music from the mainstream artists and stuff.
Yeah. Well, as true artists, man, the core, the essence of what we do, man, especially the eclectics, man, we a little different, man. Like, I got friends, and they don't understand when I don't want to go to an event or when hang out, because I'm in the lab working. I'm working toward a goal, and they sometimes they don't understand. It ain't that I don't want to hang out. So I understand wholeheartedly when you say you haven't had a chance to like listen, to a lot of new stuff. I'll be honest, I don't get a chance to do it when I'm driving in the car. But no, I feel you on that, man.
Yeah. So let me ask you, with everything that's going on right now within the music industry and the business itself, like, how have you been preparing yourself for this current shift that we're seeing happen right now in the business? You're seeing a lot of the more prominent, more powerful people that was at the top of the pyramid. You're starting to see them start to, trickle down. You're starting to see more people move into these positions. You're just seeing a whole overall shift, like the changing of the business model that we see currently right now in the industry. That's changing the whole business model with streaming, and just the way music is distributed in general is changing going into 2025. So how have you prepared yourself as an artist for these changes?
Well, I was finding myself over the years spending a lot of money. And my cousin, she does like my finances and stuff, and she kept telling me, "Cuz, you need to start a business for your music. And finally I did, man. And, and that's in the birth of Brizzy Muzik. And, and since then, just learning that I'm able to, write off a lot of my expenses, things that I was just paying for out of pocket previously. But even in the simplest form, man, just the having a DAW and being able to, build you a workable home studio, and it saves so much money.
Oh yeah.
And if you're willing to sacrifice time, you can learn to do a lot of things for yourself. I started messing around with GarageBand, man, back in like 2018.
Yeah.
Then I graduated to Logic Pro, and just a student of the game. Another artist, man, who I value opinions, a lot. My boy Ricky Rock, he's an artist, producer, all that too. And he posed a question to me a few months ago. He's like, bro, what do you see? He said, do you see yourself more artist or more producer? And I was like, wait a minute. I had to really think about it, but I don't know. It's just, I'm at that point where I feel like I got to do what I need to do, to get where I'm trying to go. But as I've been moving up, I've been meeting more people in the game. Now, I know sound engineers, and I know, what I'm saying? So now, but with that being said, man, I feel the way things are now, you can take a lot of things into your own hands, to get yourself established, since the indie artist, right? Not depending on those big names, to get you there, and I think it's been the greatest equalizer in my opinion.
And I agree with you on that one. That's something I talk about a whole awful lot when it comes to just be as an independent or an unsigned artist, or whatever the term that we're being, that we're using today to describe people that don't have a record deal. One of the biggest things I always, preach on this show, and one of the biggest things I'm a proponent for, is investing in yourself as an artist, because when it comes down to it, I was one of those artists that, was always having problems booking studio time. I couldn't get people to, take the time out to help me with my music career. So I had to take everything into my own hands. So I started doing the same approach you did, going out, buy a piece of equipment here, a mic there, or get a piece of, software that I could record in. My first program that I was recording music in was Audacity. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
So it's become so easy now, especially with the technology and the way things has become so affordable now, that if music is one of your passions and something that you really choose to pursue, there's nothing out there stopping you right now,
100% agree, brother. You couldn't have said it no better. I feel you, man. I've had family members. I've had, people I know in the game, in the music game, in the industry, and, like you said, you can't get, people to like help you or work with you, or, and I just started depending on me, and just, just letting that be like my drive and motivation, man, just to do what it is, that I love doing, which is create music, man, share my gifts.
Absolutely. So now let me ask you, going back into the conversation bit about technology, especially what we're seeing right now, the biggest thing that got everybody kind of like on edge right now within the music industry is the emergence of AI in the creative process, and just how a lot of people fear that it's going to put them out of a job when it comes to working within the music business. How do you feel about AI and the way it's being used right now?
I think everything that's created, the intent is for good, but it's how we interpret things, and I personally use AI in some of my production stuff. For instance, if I need some background vocals and I can't get it, or I need a female background, I do decent with falsetto, but I'm not gonna sound like how a woman is gonna sound when I do something, right? And so in that aspect, but I don't think, and it's just me, but AI is great, but it still lacks that human touch, that human feel, because when we create music, our music is created off of emotions, not off of algorithms and logic, right? Play on words, right? Logic Pro, but no. but you feel me, right?
Yeah, I feel you.
Like you put your heart and soul into something that you create, right? How a computer gonna be able to capture? Now it might can emulate or mimic something, but come up with it on its own. I'm not gonna say never, but at least what I see right now, I think we still gonna be around for a while, because no computer can replace the human factor, in my opinion, when it comes to the raw essence of emotion pouring into music, something that comes from your soul.
I wholeheartedly agree, and I'd say that all the time on this platform when it comes to people talking about the whole conversation of AI. Okay, I understand, and I'm gonna give you my stance on this too, if you don't mind. I don't mind particularly if people use that to help enhance their workflow. And what I mean by that is, like, if you're using it, like you said, like, of course, you and I, we can't do a female's voice, a falsetto voice, for a female or whatever the case may be. So, that's one of them things where AI comes in handy. It helps you out. You got the AI generated female vocals for the background vocals in your track, and that's cool. But the problem I get, and this is where I'll push back, is when you have people that have AI and they're using that to do their whole production 100% from top bottom. Wow. It's like it's nothing creative whatsoever with what you're doing when you're just using AI, when you're just relegating all your creativity towards AI. And then what a lot of people fail to realize is where they're getting in trouble as everybody's all giddy and excited about it. Cool, there's nothing wrong with that. But the one thing people fail to realize is that you got a lot of these major companies that are on the low using people's getting people to allow companies to use third-party AI applications to train their models off of. And then what happens down the line, which a lot of people don't know, is that AI model and all that stuff that they're training off of your content, off of your hard work, once they get all that stuff trained and they guide it and everything into their AI model, once your NIL comes about, then you can't get that back. You can't get your licenses back for your name, your likeness, and your images and stuff like that too. So that's one of the things that a lot of people need to be careful about when it comes to just the overindulgence of using AI.
Yeah, facts. You know, I didn't understand it at first, and one day I was just doing some research, and I actually threw it in ChatGPT. And it broke it down for me. You know, it gave me like the synopsis, right, of what was going on. I'm like, no, I don't want to let them train some computer to be like me.
Right.
So I always say no. You know, but some people don't probably understand what's going on, and you know, and they probably saying yeah, not knowing, and what happens is what you just described. That'll be the outcome.
Yeah, and then all that hard work and everything that you put in to build up all your content, all your work is now, in the hands of this AI. You can't get it back now because you done signed over your rights to your creativity now. You know? But I like what you said earlier about the whole thing about humanization, because it doesn't matter how much machines you put into making the music, you can't capture that feel like a human can, you know?
No, man, you ever watched the James Brown movie?
I may have. That might have been something I may have seen when I was like a kid or something like that.
Okay. Well, I'm referencing like maybe toward the end, and he was trying to get the drummer to play this rhythm, and it was like the bass player and the drummer were like the way they were playing together, and he was like, you know, it's that feeling. It's that you just that thump, you feel it, right? That's, in my opinion, that's something that a computer is not going to be able to do.
That is true.
You know, and that's just me. I mean, you know, it might prove me wrong one day. I don't know, but
well, these people keep, signing their rights over and letting AI use their models after them and all that stuff. Then it just may. Who knows? Yeah. Yeah, man. So with that being said, before we get ready to wrap everything up, we have your single that we're going to get into now. And, we also want to know, like, what do you have that we should be looking forward to in 2025 when it comes to your music? So we have with us here, we have this single, Good Vibrations, from you. So tell us about that one, man. What was the inspiration behind that?
Man, I'm one of those producers. I make the track and then I write to it. And the track, when I created the track, and I just started writing, it just started flowing. And I wrote the first verse. And it was probably back in the spring of last year. And then my wife and I went on a cruise in June. And, we had a balcony view, man. And I was working on the second verse. I was just sitting out there, just vibing, the sea breeze. We were out to sea. And then it was a thunderstorm off in the distance. And then I saw a rainbow in the ocean. I was like, yo, I took pictures and then, one of my verses is, ever seen a rainbow on the ocean from your balcony of your cruise ship as you're coasting? Ever seen the water that's crystal blue? Ever gave up something old for something new? I'm sending this from me to you. And then I go back into the hook, Good Vibrations. But yeah, just wanting to put some positivity in the world, man. You know, it was it was all during the time, the elections, and people acting crazy in the world and treating people, horribly just because. And, I just wanted to make a song, man, that brought people together, man, with positivity, man. And, good vibes. I think was a Mariah the Scientist. She had that song, "Good Vibes" or something like that. I was like, I just wanted to do a song that just put some positivity out in the world, man. Just something you can vibe to.
Nice. I like that, man. I was listening to that earlier here in the studio, and I was like, you know what? I like this song, man. And we could use a lot more, positivity right now, especially with everything going on. You got the wildfires in Cali. That's a crazy situation, and my heart goes out to everybody out there that's affected by that situation. Then you got these drones over here on the East Coast, and you got all this just crazy stuff that's just happening right now. We can use some good vibrations right about now. What you think?
I think so, brother.
Yeah. No doubt, man. So with that being said, man, well, we definitely want to thank you for taking the time out to, join us here tonight on the show and everything. And we definitely do appreciate you for coming and sharing your story with us. But before we go, I want to give you the opportunity to anybody out there that's listening right now, if they want to get in contact with you and find your music, or if they want to bring you onto their show, or anything that you would like to say to the people out there watching right now, please feel free. The floor is all yours, brother.
Okay. Well, my website, www.brizzy, BRIZZYMUZIK.com. It's got all my current information on there. It's got links to my Apple Music, Spotify, all of that. Even my social media on IG. I got an IG, Will Soul the Third. So was it / Will Soul the Third, and then I also got another page, Brizzy Muzik, same thing. And then my YouTube channel is at Brizzy Muzik, BRIZZYMUZIK. Facebook, I still go by my government, so it's William Brisbane the Third. And yeah, you can hit me up on there, on a messenger. I'm easy to get in touch with. Yeah,
and that's all it is, man. And for 2025, man, like what is your goal for 2025? Like, what do you hope to accomplish? What do you want to do? What do you want to achieve in this year when it comes to your music?
Man, we did, I did a vision board this year, man. Something a good friend of mine taught me how to do when I was working overseas. And man, the vision for 2025, man, is just to gain more fans, get some nice performances. But more importantly, I got an album project, a collaboration project with Mr. Shaft that we working to, starting to work on, and hopefully, I don't think we put a time frame yet, but I'm thinking hopefully by, midsummer, if not sooner. And then I got a couple more singles that I'm going to drop. I got a song called Life 2.0 that I'm probably going to drop either by the end of this month or the beginning of February. Okay. So, yeah, man, just big things, man, just in new opportunities. I look at new people as, opportunities to network and, make this dream come into fruition. I
hear that, man. Well, I wish you nothing but the utmost success and the best going into 2025, and I'm hoping that we here on this platform will do our part in helping, get you out there, help make you a household name here on the EMillio EgBar Show, man.
Hey, my brother, I appreciate your time. I appreciate the opportunity to just come and chop it up with you, man. All love, bro.
No doubt, man.
All love.
And for everybody else out there, man, keep it locked and stay tuned. The EMillio EgBar Show will return right after these words, you heard? Yeah.